Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for Monday the 27th of January. I'm Stephen Ridgway. GitLab has provided security updates, patches covering multiple vulnerabilities. This covers both the Community Edition and the Enterprise Edition. The vulnerabilities addressed include stored cross-site scripting, amongst other bits and pieces, exfiltration of protected CI/CD variables, denial of service via resource exhaustion, and so on and so forth. So recommendation is to update to 17.8.1, 17.7.3 or 17.6.4 at your earliest opportunity. So these issues have been made public. As always with these things, there's been some responsible disclosure, so they've been kicking around for a little bit longer. They've been around for about 30 odd days or so. By now, the people in the know are in the know. So expect there to be exploits for these things kicking around pretty quickly. So if you are using GitLab, recommend that you upgrade to the latest versions as soon as you can. Cisco is warning of a bug in ClamAV, which has a proof of concept exploit currently available. There are various versions of various versions of the software that are ClamAV that are vulnerable, covering Linux, Mac, Windows, and private cloud environments. Links to the Cisco articles in the article that we'll post with the to the briefing. However, if you are using ClamAV, definitely worth looking at getting updated as soon as possible. One of these vulnerabilities, CVE 2023-20032, has a CVSS score of 9.8. Which can lead to remote code execution. Definitely, if you are using ClamAV, have a look at this and upgrade at the earliest opportunity. I mean, clearly, ClamAV is kind of like, endpoint protection. It's your last line of defense. You really don't want that to be the thing that gets you. So have a look at that. Upgrade as soon as you can, as always. Now, I came across an interesting article on security affairs that it fits in with one of the themes that we've been talking about over the last 12 months or so, around connectivity and vulnerabilities in cars. So the automotive industry moved under, kind of under pressure from governments to become more clever and do more stuff and whatever. A lot of cars have now moved very firmly into the online, always connected IoT arena. However, as we're finding out, auto manufacturers are not particularly good at writing secure software. This particular article talks about a link to, in fact, it's a not particularly hidden subdomain of the Subaru website that is appears to be intended for employees to get access to an admin portal. Now, interestingly, the password reset scripts will reset the password without prompts and bypassing two-factor authentication. So all you need is a valid email, a valid employee email. You can reset the password and gain access to the panel's functionality. Armed with that, you can then add in information about cars. You don't need much in order to do that. Something as simple as a VIN number, or in some cases even just a license plate, will give you the ability to add the car into the portal, and from there you can send commands. So article talks about how that's been demonstrated in real time using with permission, using a friend's of the author's car to be tested upon. So yeah, it is kind of worrying, because that is it's relatively simple. It's absolutely trivial. The only thing that is preventing, I guess, a whole scale takeover of Subaru vehicles is that up until this has been published, you have to actually go and look for the admin portal, and you'd have to go and look for the JavaScript that resets the password. Yeah, well, so first of all, if you own a Subaru, oh dear. There's nothing, as far as I can see, there's nothing can be done about this. It's only been tested against cars in the States, Japan, and a handful of other places at the moment, but Canada as well. But that doesn't mean to say that the underlying issues are not going to crop up elsewhere. It's symptomatic of a lack of proper security testing, which is kind of all pervasive in automotive technology at the moment. So yeah, interesting article, kind of shows the stuff that is being looked at, and it also shows that there are undoubtedly multiple vulnerabilities floating around here that as are yet are undisclosed or undiscovered, but will come out in the wash. And then finally from me today, it's a good article on HelpNet Security talking about open source cybersecurity tools. As you may be aware, at TSE we are fans of open source tooling. We support some open source projects. We are definitely users of open source tooling ourselves where it's appropriate. Where it's, yes, of course, we've risk assessed it before we do it, if we do use it. But there's an awful lot of good stuff out there. And interestingly, in this list, there are a load of things that are new to me, which is great, because it means that then stuff is moving at a pace in the open source world. Shall definitely be having a little investigation into some of these, and I shall be nudging our tech team to do the same. The stuff there, which I think is useful for all aspects, from engineering through SOC through offensive security. Lots of good open source tooling there. If you use open source tooling for cybersecurity purposes, take a look at this list. You might find something in there that helps you to get your job done more easily. If you don't use open source tooling, well, either just completely ignore this or take a look. You might find that actually it's an eye-opener, and some of this stuff is really good and saves you some money on licensing fees. So anyway, there just in the article, have a read through. If any of this stuff is useful to you, all well and good. If not, well, you haven't lost much other than a little bit of time looking through a list. That is all from me for today. I hope you have a good week, and I shall speak to you all again tomorrow morning.